The footage looped across Erebus Station's command deck, a man staggering through open vacuum, helmet half shattered, frost crystallizing on his faceplate. He had been thrown clear by an equipment malfunction, yet instead of going limp, he crawled. Every second should have killed him, lungs freezing, eyes hemorrhaging. But he kept moving, until the rescue drone caught his arm and reeled him back inside. The alien observers were silent, their dark eyes glittering. Commander Khor'vak broke the silence. "How long was he exposed?" 47 seconds, the technician replied, voice tight. The Zoryx commander's mandibles flexed. "And he lives?" The technician swallowed. "Yes, sir. Stabilized in medbay. He demanded his pace slip before treatment." A ripple of low hisses spread through the Zoryx delegation. To them, survival beyond 30 seconds in hard vacuum was fantasy. The human miner had doubled that, then asked about his wages. Khor'vak's voice dropped into a growl. "They are hiding something." Dr. Elara Vance heard about the incident before she saw the recording. Rumors traveled fast through the station's crowded arteries. "Miner walks through space, aliens spooked, Zoryx watching us like hawks." She ignored the chatter until an encrypted message reached her lab. "Come to command. Bring your expertise. Director Soren." She set aside her xenopathogen samples reluctantly and crossed the humming corridors. Erebus Station smelled of humanity, recycled air tinged with machine oil, food stalls piping spices into vents, children running barefoot past traders in pressure suits. Aliens walked among them, scaled Threx, cloaked Ilari, towering Zoryx. But humans still formed the noisy, restless majority. In command, the mood was subdued. The director gestured her forward. "Dr. Vance. You'll want to see this." The screen replayed the miner's ordeal. Elara leaned in, studying each frozen frame. His veins ruptured under pressure drop, lips blue, but his muscles still drove him forward. "Impossible," she whispered. Khor'vak's gaze snapped to her. "Explain, human." His voice was thick with disdain, each syllable clicking through mandibles. Elara straightened. "I can't explain yet. Most would die within 20 seconds. He shouldn't be conscious." Khor'vak stepped closer, towering over her. "Yet he lived. Do not insult me with ignorance." Director Soren intervened. "Dr. Vance is our foremost xenobiologist. If there is a scientific reason, she will find it." Khor'vak's eyes narrowed. "Find it quickly." Later, Elara sat in the station's modest medbay, watching the miner breathe. He was patched with sealant foam, chest bandaged, lips cracked. Monitors displayed stable vitals, astonishingly normal. He noticed her and grinned weakly. "Document. You here to tell me I'm dead?" She blinked at his casual tone. "You should be. What were you thinking, trying to crawl back? What else was I gonna do? Sit there and freeze? No thanks." His voice rasped but held humor. "Gotta move, right? Always gotta move." Elara scribbled notes. Something about that phrase struck her. Always move. Instinct carved into the marrow. Khor'vak summoned her again that evening. His quarters were austere, metal walls, Zoryx banners in crimson and black. He motioned for her to sit, though his tone suggested interrogation, not hospitality. "You claim ignorance," he began. "Yet your species shows evidence of deliberate concealment. I have studied records. Humans survive wounds that end other lives. You tolerate heat, cold, toxins beyond reason. Now this." Elara kept her expression neutral. "We're adaptable. Evolutionary pressure." Khor'vak's mandibles clicked in derision. "Evolution does not grant miracles. Your kind endured planetary collapse, wars that burned continents, yet you remain. Why? What makes you different?" Elara chose her words carefully. "Perhaps we refuse to stop. That's all." The commander leaned forward. "Refusal is not biology. It is something else. And I will uncover it." His tone chilled her. This wasn't scientific curiosity, it was predatory interest. Back in her quarters, Elara sent encrypted notes to trusted colleagues. The miner's case wasn't isolated. She compiled other anomalies: pilots who endured lethal G-forces, soldiers who fought despite mortal wounds, settlers who survived barren worlds by sheer stubbornness. Alone, each was a miracle; together, a pattern. She tapped her console nervously. If the Zoryx connected the dots, humanity's reputation as a fragile upstart species would shatter. Aliens feared what they didn't understand. And fear, in galactic politics, quickly became justification for extermination. Her console chimed. Another message, this one untraceable. 4 words. He knows. Protect them. Elara's blood ran cold. The next morning, tension simmered in Erebus Station's crowded markets. Alien merchants eyed humans with unease, whispering in unfamiliar tongues. A group of Threx refused to share tables in the canteen. The air felt charged, rumors mutating faster than truth. 2 miners passed Elara, muttering. They think we're freaks now. Good. Maybe they'll stop underpaying us. She pressed on, unsettled. The divide was widening. By evening, Khor'vak stood on a raised platform in the diplomatic hall, addressing mixed delegations. His words carried across translators. Today I witnessed a human endure the void. This is not accident. It is concealment. Humanity hides truths from its neighbors, playing weak while sharpening hidden claws. Murmurs erupted. Elara felt dozens of eyes turn toward the human contingent. Khor'vak's mandibles spread in a grim smile. If they are hiding something, we will tear it from them. The hall fell silent. Elara clenched her fists. For the first time in her career, she wished her people truly were ordinary. Elara Vance avoided the central promenade the next day. The air was thick with suspicion, whispers rising like static. Aliens stared too long, conversations cut short when humans passed. Even the station's familiar hum felt different, like a ship bracing for impact. Inside the science wing, her colleagues waited. Dr. Malik paced, hands shoved in his lab coat pockets. This is spiraling, Elara. The Zoryx are turning one freak accident into propaganda. Not propaganda, said Dr. Yara Belen, voice low. Evidence. They think we've hidden something fundamental. Elara set her tablet on the table, displaying medical data from the miner. His recovery isn't unique. There are scattered reports, survivors of things no one should walk away from. If the Zoryx compile enough examples, they'll make their case. Malik stopped pacing. So what do we do? Deny it? Pretend it's coincidence? Maybe, Elara said, though her stomach twisted. She didn't believe it herself. That evening, a formal summons arrived. Khor'vak wanted her in the Zoryx sector of the station. Refusing wasn't an option. His chamber was colder than before, lit by harsh white strips. He stood alone, hands clasped behind his back. You study your species, he said without greeting. Tell me truthfully, how many such miracles exist? Elara hesitated. We don't catalog them. We see them as exceptions. Exceptions, Khor'vak repeated, as though tasting the word. Yet patterns emerge. Records from your wars show soldiers fighting long after fatal wounds. Colonists thriving on poisoned worlds. Children enduring famine that would cripple others. Not exceptions. Evidence. Elara lifted her chin. Evidence of resilience. Not conspiracy. The commander's eyes glinted. Resilience is a weapon sharper than steel. A blade you wield while pretending unarmed. His tone unsettled her. He wasn't marveling, he was calculating. She left with her thoughts racing. On her way back through the station's thoroughfare, she overheard Ilari merchants haggling in hushed tones. They laugh in the face of death, one said. Madness disguised as courage, replied another. The words cut deeper than she expected. Humanity was slipping from mystery into myth, and myth sparked fear. In the following days, the station fractured. The mess hall buzzed with tension. Aliens clustered together, eyeing human tables warily. One Zoryx soldier refused to eat when a miner sat nearby. Elara found herself in the middle, both scientist and unwilling representative. Malik pressed her in the lab. We should go public with data. Show it's just physiology, tough lungs, adaptive metabolism. Nothing mystical. But that's not the whole truth, Elara argued. Physiology doesn't explain why that miner chose to crawl. Why survivors cling to life when logic says surrender. It's something deeper. Malik shook his head. If we admit that, we'll feed their paranoia. Better to give them a neat, scientific answer. Elara couldn't decide if he was right, or if hiding the truth would only worsen things. 2 days later, Khor'vak confronted her directly in the research wing. His arrival silenced the hall. He loomed over her workstation. Doctor, I tire of evasions. Your data. Now. Elara stiffened. That's classified under station authority. I can't release it. You will. His mandibles clicked in warning. Or I take it by force. Elara met his gaze, though her pulse thundered. And prove what? That humans fight harder when cornered? That's the lesson you'll learn if you try. For a heartbeat, silence. Then Khor'vak leaned close, voice low enough only she could hear. You are not feared because you are strong. You are feared because you refuse to die. That is unnatural. Dangerous. If your people cannot be broken, the galaxy will decide you must be erased. The words lodged like ice in her chest. That night, Elara couldn't sleep. She replayed the miner's grin in medbay, his cracked voice insisting, always gotta move. She thought of her grandmother's stories, family rebuilding after floods, after wars, after loss. Maybe Malik was wrong. Maybe the truth wasn't physiology at all. Maybe it was will. And maybe that was exactly what terrified the Zoryx. Her console pinged. Another untraceable message. They're planning to take subjects. Tonight. Her breath caught. Subjects meant people. She hurried through dim corridors toward the miner's quarter. The smell of oil and metal thickened. Men and women lounged outside airlock bays, faces tired but alert. They noticed her haste. What's wrong, Doc? One asked. Elara hesitated, then spoke quietly. The Zoryx are coming for you. They want specimens. Anger flared instantly. Like hell. One spat. A grizzled foreman stepped forward. We've fought for every scrap out here. If they think we'll go quietly, they don't know us at all. Elara nodded grimly. That's what I'm afraid of. Hours later, alarms blared across the station. Unauthorized Zoryx patrols moved toward the habitation rings. Humans gathered in defense, makeshift weapons in hand, wrenches, cutters, mining drills. In command, Elara watched chaos unfold on screens. Khor'vak had overplayed his hand. The Zoryx weren't acting like diplomats anymore. Director Soren turned to her. We can't let this escalate. If the Zoryx start taking prisoners, there'll be riots. Elara swallowed. Then we hold them back. Show them exactly why they should be careful. Down in the corridors, the first clash erupted. A Zoryx soldier shoved through a human barricade, only to be driven back by sheer ferocity, miners fighting like cornered wolves. Not trained soldiers, not disciplined troops, but stubborn, unyielding. Khor'vak watched from a secure feed, mandibles drawn tight. So it is true, he muttered. They fight past reason. He turned to his aide. Prepare containment units. If they will not yield, we will break them apart piece by piece until we understand. But as the screen showed humans rallying again after every setback, a flicker of doubt crossed even his hardened features. Back in her lab, Elara recorded her thoughts into a secure log. They see us as monsters because we don't surrender. They don't realize survival isn't our secret, it's our nature. We endure. We adapt. We move forward, always. The question is, when they finally understand this truth, will they fear us enough to destroy us? She shut off the recorder. Outside, the station thrummed with unrest, and she knew the worst was still to come. Erebus Station shook with the force of boots and shouts. Sirens wailed, doors sealed, and lights strobed red through the corridors. The Zoryx patrols moved with precision, forcing their way toward the habitation rings. Their orders were clear: seize humans alive for study. But the miners were ready. Elara Vance pushed through the crowded passageways, heart pounding. She saw men and women standing shoulder to shoulder, armed with whatever they could lift: plasma welders, hydraulic cutters, lengths of pipe. Not soldiers, yet they looked unbreakable in the flickering light. The first clash erupted near the loading docks. Zoryx troopers advanced in rigid formation, shields raised. The humans answered with chaos. A shower of welding torches flared, beams cutting through metal crates to block paths. Drills roared like beasts. The air filled with sparks, smoke, and the roar of voices refusing to scatter. One miner fell, but another dragged him aside, still swinging a wrench with his free hand. The Zoryx pressed forward, disciplined and armored, but their opponents would not yield. Elara ducked behind a bulkhead, watching in awe. She knew then what the aliens had never understood. Humans weren't strong because of biology alone. They were strong because they fought hardest when they had nothing left. From a secure command room, Commander Khor'vak observed the feeds. His mandibles twitched with restrained fury. "They are not trained," he hissed. "Not organized. And yet—" On the screen, a group of miners who had been forced back regrouped instantly, shouting encouragement, pulling each other upright. They surged again, as if pain and exhaustion only sharpened their resolve. Khor'vak's aide whispered, "Commander, perhaps we should—" "Silence!" Khor'vak snapped. Yet even as he spoke, unease crept into his voice. "They should break. Why do they not break?" In the chaos of the docking bay, Elara found herself face to face with a squad of Zoryx soldiers. Their armor gleamed under the flashing lights, weapons raised. She froze, until the foreman she'd warned earlier shoved past her, swinging a steel bar. His strike dented armor, but the Zoryx retaliated, knocking him down hard. Without thinking, Elara stepped in. She grabbed a welding torch from the floor and fired it toward the soldiers. The bright jet of flame forced them back, giving the foreman time to stagger up again. "Doc!" he rasped. "Didn't think you had it in you." Her hands shook, but she forced her voice steady. "I told you, we don't go quietly." The battle spread through the station like fire. Humans barricaded hallways, rewired power conduits to flood passages with smoke, and overloaded cargo loaders to block heavy troops. They fought in ways no manual ever taught, improvised, desperate, effective. And the more they resisted, the more unsettled their enemies became. The Zoryx were used to wars of attrition, to opponents who retreated when outmatched. This was different. For every human dragged away, 3 more rose in their place, shouting, laughing, bleeding, but unyielding. Khor'vak finally descended into the station himself, determined to crush the defiance with his own hands. His towering form cut through smoke and sparks until he found Elara standing at a barricade. "You!" he snarled. "This is your doing. You roused them with lies." Elara faced him, pulse hammering. "No lies. This is who we are. You endure beyond reason. You fight when defeat is certain. Such creatures cannot be tolerated." Her reply came calm, though fear clawed at her. "That's what makes us dangerous, isn't it? Not our weapons. Not our ships. Us. We don't stop." The commander raised his weapon, but hesitation flickered across his features. Behind Elara, miners shouted, banging metal against bulkheads. Their defiance filled the corridor like thunder. Khor'vak's mandibles clicked uncertainly. For the first time, he saw not weak bipeds clinging to scraps of life, but something primal, something that could not be broken without destroying itself in the process. Director Soren's voice crackled across station comms. "All personnel, cease hostilities. Erebus Station will not become a battlefield." Zoryx patrols began to retreat under his authority. But Khor'vak lingered, eyes locked on Elara. "You think this victory means safety?" he growled. "It does not. The galaxy will learn what you are. And when they do, they will fear you. Fear leads to destruction." Elara held his gaze. "Maybe. Or maybe they'll realize fear isn't the only answer. Maybe they'll see we're the ones who rebuild when everyone else gives up." For a long, tense moment, Khor'vak said nothing. Then he turned sharply and strode away, armor glinting in the smoke. Hours later, the station quieted. Fires were contained, wounded tended, barricades dismantled. Humans slumped against walls, exhausted yet grinning, their laughter echoing through the battered corridors. Elara stood among them, soot on her face, torch still clutched in her hand. The foreman clapped her shoulder. "Guess the galaxy got its answer tonight," he said. She gave a weary smile. "They wanted to know what we are. Now they know." In her quarters, Elara recorded one final log. "The Zoryx wanted to strip us apart to find our secret. But there's no secret to dissect. We're fragile. Breakable. We bleed, we suffer, we fall. Yet every time, we stand again. That's our strength. Not invincibility, but persistence. Not perfection, but the refusal to stay broken." She closed her eyes, hearing distant laughter from the corridors, the sound of people who had stared fear in the face and survived. "They thought we were weak. They thought wrong. Fragile things burn brightest. And when we burn, we light the dark.